Welcome, my friends, to Crusade with me. We've made it to episode 77, and this is the final ride in our Pentecost series. Today's episode is titled One Road Forward, Walking in Integrity. Over the past two episodes, we've awakened the inner flame of Pentecost. We faced the fork inside and stared down the shadow in the saddle. And now we take the next step, the decisive step. We walk in integrity, where the flame becomes our light, the fork becomes one road, and the divided self begins to heal into wholeness. So take a deep breath. Feel your feet on the ground, your hands on the reins of your own life. You're here. You're ready. Let's walk this road together. I love when you dance for me like that.
I'm a great chair dancer.
Hello, my queen.
Hello, my love.
I know you like that song. And it's just, I don't know.
It's the inner drummer in me.
Is it? Okay, yeah. You always wanted to be a drummer. Remember the Barbara Mandrell show with the Barbara Mandrell sisters and the one girl?
Earlene, I think, was the one that was a drummer. Or that might have been the blonde. It was the brunette was the drummer.
No, the brunette was not the drummer.
Okay, then it was Earlene, I think, was the blonde.
The brunette could actually sing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is Barbara Mandrell still alive?
Yes, she is. I follow her on Instagram.
Do you really?
I do.
She had like a pretty serious accident several years ago, a long time ago.
Yeah, in the bus.
Was it? I know.
Yeah.
I thought it was like her personal car. Like she was driving like a Jaguar or something. And
no, I think it was the bus. And then wasn't all her band members killed in a plane?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I used to have a crush on her.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, she was a little cutie patootie.
Yeah, I love Barbara.
Yep.
Like I know her on a first name basis.
Yeah, but sometimes we act like that. We feel like that, right? I mean,
yeah, I hate it on like American Idol and The Voice when those contestants get up there and they call the celebrity singers, by their first name. Like they're like, "Thank you, Luke," "Thank you, Katie," and I'm like, show some respect. I guess I'm old school. I'm like, call them Mr. Bryant, call them Ms. Perry, or whatever their names are, or I'm like, you don't know them. I mean, if Barbara Mandrell was sitting here, I would say, thank you, Miss Mandrell.
Right.
Or, if Dolly Parton was sitting here, I'd be,
oh my gosh,
okay.
would I love to have a conversation with Dolly. I met Dolly Parton.
I know you did.
At the Lake County Fairgrounds. I'll never
Yep.
forget. This was early 1970s. This was probably her heyday. And, to think that a county fair was attracting people like
Dolly.
And I saw Jerry Reed. I saw, what's his name? Freddie Fender.
Ah,
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. And I met Dolly. A family member, this guy will remain nameless,
This guy
took me down across the track because she came back out on stage after the show. And when I say stage, it was just a little raised platform, not a foot high. You know what I'm saying? Because we were all in the grandstand looking down.
Right.
And I met her and shook her hand. And I was standing in the shadow of her breasts from the lights.
Dolly is
I was young.
Dolly is a national treasure.
She
I
is.
love
She is,
Dolly.
yeah.
See, now I know you don't like T Swift, but I remember I took our daughter and one of her friends to see Taylor back in like 19.
Not 19. It was 2000 something, wasn't it?
No. Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. Like 2007. Yeah, I think so. 2006, 2007. Now, this is before Taylor hit it big. I think she was 18 at the time.
Right. I think she was starting to be big, but
She was, but it was just her and a guitar. That's it.
Yes,
It was,
yes.
Yeah, just her and a band and a guitar. And I said to myself, this girl is going to be huge someday. I
That
mean,
was your discerning spirit.
it was. But she was, I mean, I think I paid $50 for the tickets.
Uh-huh.
It was phenomenal, and she was amazing. And I don't know that she's a national treasure, but I mean, obviously she's huge.
Yeah, I
But
don't know. I don't know any of them, and I don't. You know.
people like Dolly, they're the national treasures
Yeah.
because they, you know.
So that, you know what? As you bring that up, I'm just thinking about today's episode, which is, you know, one road forward, walking with integrity. And I'm not trying to judge anybody and what they think. I don't know what Taylor Swift thinks.
No,
You know,
we can't know that.
no, nobody does. I used to like her music. I don't even know any of
It's
her new
changed
songs.
a lot over the years.
Yeah. And that's fine too.
Yeah.
That's fine too. And I say kudos to her for
She's a smart businesswoman.
yeah,
Very
and that's
smart.
where I say kudos to her for.
Yep.
I guess that was probably the change she made is good for her. I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she's very smart at a young age and has continued to be smart about her music and her money. And,
Yeah.
and that you got to give her credit for that.
Right. But let's start with a simple truth with this episode. You know, integrity isn't about being perfect. It's about being whole. The word integrity comes from the same root as integer, which an integer is a whole number.
I was going to say, that's a math.
Right? Yes.
Uh-huh.
Not fractions, not fractured, not half, one. So to walk in integrity means that your thoughts, your feelings, your words, and your actions are aligned. So I'm going to have to talk to my little itty bitty.
She has given us great material this week.
I love that girl to death. So you're not trying to be one person at work and another at home.
Mm-hmm.
You're not saying yes with your lips and no with your heart. You are one. I feel like I can't talk about itty bitty without relating the story.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. And I didn't clear this with my kids before I decided to bring this up, obviously, because it just popped into my head. But my itty bitty pretty one is 4. She'll be 5 here in a couple months.
Yeah, next month.
Next month, okay. And she's just your beautiful. She's just a typical blonde-haired, blue-eyed cutie. And I don't even like blonde hair, right? I mean, I really don't.
No,
That's not.
because I've been blonde and you.
No, I do not like blonde hair girls. Anyway,
Except Arlene Mandrell.
Barbara Mandrell. She was blonde. I guess I did think she was a cutie, but anyway. My itty bitty is special. And when I say special, I don't mean I don't know. She's extremely intelligent for a 4-year-old.
Extremely.
I mean, she just finished up preschool, so next year she starts kindergarten, and I know that they're talking about skipping kindergarten because she's probably not going to. All the things they want to teach her in kindergarten, she knows.
Her preschool teacher said she should just go
Straight to first grade. Yeah. So, but she's also a little opinionated and at 4. And at 4, she doesn't have a lot of forks in her road.
No.
Internally.
No.
She knows what she wants.
Yep.
Now.
And what she doesn't.
Correct.
She doesn't want spicy pepper on her mac and cheese.
No. Right. And she is, as most 4-year-olds are, she's particularly impatient.
Yes. And can't sit still.
And she's high energy.
Yep.
And
she's pure.
Yes. And you know, So mom has to deal with the 12-year-old number one grandson
Mm-hmm.
who is, okay, got 12-year-old problems, which starting to get,
puberty, right?
yeah, and those are problems.
And doesn't want to
that's,
shower and doesn't want
right,
to, yeah.
right, and doesn't seem to want to use deodorant, but
Yeah.
probably should.
Right.
And then she's got the 4-year-old who is high energy and
Wants everything right now.
and stubborn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, I have to have integrity when I speak. I'm practicing
Mm-hmm.
that. And so she gets this honestly.
Right.
Right. Her parents are both pretty stubborn,
Mm-hmm.
to put it mildly.
Right. And then they have the 10-month-old.
And then they have the 10-month-old who is my little pretty panda. And she just said my name
this morning
to me on the phone.
Uh-huh. And I'm a little, perturbed about that. But because they were all just here last week. And I fed her green beans.
Buttered green beans.
And some strawberries and some bananas. And that girl attacked and enjoyed and slurped. And the juice from the green beans just ran down her clothes. And she ate it all and enjoyed it. But she says Papa's name.
So things have been hectic around their household, and Andrew had to run to get some diapers for my pretty panda, and Itty Bitty wanted to go with him. And so he takes Itty Bitty with, and they run to the store, and he's like, he calls her by name. He says, I am your Obi-Wan Kenobi. I am your last and only hope.
Mm-hmm. Like your mother's about ready to.
And I'm thinking, okay, that's pretty dramatic, but anyway. And he says, you just need to calm down a little bit, and patience, and not so stubborn. And my 4-year-old Itty Bitty's response to him is, well, I'm super sorry.
Yep, that sounds about right. So that is our coined phrase now around here.
Yes,
We're
it
super sorry.
absolutely is.
And I told you this morning, the next time Andrew gets upset with me, I'm just going to call him and say, I'm super sorry.
Right. And then I guess what made me laugh even harder and longer at this was his response was, I appreciate your words, but it doesn't mean anything if you don't follow it up with action. And I'm thinking, how many times
as a teenager,
have I had this conversation when he was, significantly older?
Right.
Now she's 4 and he's already having that conversation.
You have expectations for her at 4 to show you with her actions, when I'm pretty sure even when you shipped off to the Navy, we were still using these words.
Oh, I love it. Some people would call that karma,
and I hate saying that, but
I know, but I can't. There's not a better term. There's no better term.
Yeah, grandparenting is the best.
It is. That's why they call them grands. Right?
Yeah, they are definitely grand, and the moments that they produce are very enjoyable. But yes, I had made her mac and cheese the other day, and she said, Mimi, you put pepper in my macaroni and cheese, and it makes it super spicy.
She likes that word super. She does. So, but here's the challenge. We live in a world that encourages the opposite, right, of integrity. It encourages compartmentalizing things, right? Edit yourself. Shape shift, whatever you want to call it. Fit in. And so we become split. We become double-minded. One version of ourselves for each context until we barely remember who we are. And that's why this episode is about choosing the one road forward. And not just choosing it once, choosing it again and again every single day. So, let me tell you a story. Years ago, I knew someone who lived like a chameleon. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Charming, likable, agreeable, but never really grounded. At work, they were all ambition. At home, they were withdrawn. At church, they were pious. But privately, they were anxious and unsure. And eventually, it all caught up. The masks became heavy. The contradictions collided, and they found themselves exhausted and lost. The healing came not in a single moment, but in a series of small, honest steps, saying what they really thought, admitting when they were tired, asking for what they needed, one decision at a time. They began to walk in integrity. And their life transformed. Because integrity is freedom. It frees you from performing. It frees you from second guessing. It frees you from exhausting job of keeping your lies straight.
Mm-hmm.
And I shared this last week on an episode about living lies and how exhausting and tiring that is. Mm-hmm. As I said, this whole week, these episodes are for me. I'm not talking to anyone else. This is for me. And I'm trying to help myself.
Right.
And I hope in doing so help others.
Right. I think they're all very relatable.
So let's get practical. So here's your first exercise for this week, the mirror question. Each night, and I hate mirrors. You know that. I don't like looking at myself in the mirror. Oh. I don't like having my picture made. If they could make me look like Clark Gable or, and I probably shouldn't, probably get a more modern person.
I'm terrible with actors' names.
Me too. If I could look like Antonio Banderas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Puss in Boots.
That's right. But the mirror question. So each night, look at yourself in the mirror and ask, did I say what I meant today?
Oh, that's awesome.
That's it. Not, was I nice? Not, did everyone like me? Just, did I say what I meant?
Oh, that's great.
And if the answer is no, that's okay. This isn't about shame. It's about noticing. It's about tracking when your words and your inner truth don't line up. Over time, you'll start to catch it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You'll start correcting in real time. You'll feel the energy shift when you speak from integrity. And eventually, it becomes second nature. Here's another practice. the alignment walk. This week, take one walk. Just one. Without music, without your phone, without distractions. As you walk, ask yourself, where in my life am I walking two roads? You might find it's in your relationship, your health, ding, 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 your spiritual life, your job. Don't judge it. Just notice it. That is your invitation to alignment. That's the place where your healing starts. You might be surprised what bubbles up. The body knows. The breath knows. The road speaks if we're willing to listen.
No, I'm writing all this down.
Oh, I didn't know if you were wanting to
No, I'm
chime
writing all
in
this
and
down.
say something. Okay. So I want to talk about decisions again. I know we talked about decisions Tuesday. Because decisions is the doorway to integrity. When you delay decisions, when you hover in the land of maybe, you stay split. But when you choose, clearly, confidently, you begin to unify in your life. So start small. Set your morning routine and stick to it. Decide what your boundaries are with your time, your energy, your heart. Every clear decision you make becomes a building block in the cathedral of integrity. And I've been waiting to talk about this. We haven't talked about this much, but let's not forget the role of grace. And I'm not talking about Grace that died 40 years ago, but anyway. I sometimes make references to movies with no context, but that was from Christmas Vacation. Yes. Grace died 40 years ago. Anyway, sometimes we avoid integrity because we're afraid. Afraid that once we show who we really are, we'll be rejected.
Yes.
Or worse, disappoint someone. Or worse, disappointed in ourselves. But walking in integrity doesn't mean you never mess up. It means when you do, you own it. You name it. You ask forgiveness. You realign. There's deep power in a simple apology.
Mm-hmm.
There's deep humility in saying, I was wrong. That kind of integrity, it's magnetic. People trust it. And more importantly, your soul trusts it. Your spirit begins to rest because it knows it no longer has to pretend. What do you think, my love?
I was just thinking about speaking about pretending. Have you ever, and I know the answer to this, I know what you're going to say, but I know the true answer. Have you ever like pretended to be like to impress someone, pretended to be smarter than you really are?
Um, yeah, that would never work for me. I'm not very smart, but
I knew
that
you
would
were going to
never,
say that.
I don't know that I could fake that. I have pretended to be more important than I actually am because I'm really not all that important.
Really? And I find that hard to believe because you downplay
Well,
your
I'm talking about years
role.
ago. I'm talking about
Yeah.
younger.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
talking about younger.
Definitely, I understand that.
I pretended to have more money than I had.
Huh. No.
Or maybe I didn't care about money enough to.
Okay, I could see. Okay. You're going way back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you weren't paying your bills.
I was living good.
Yeah.
In 1985, I left a cocktail waitress a $100 tip that I didn't have.
Wow. Yeah. I guess I can identify again going back. I mean, I'm talking about since we've been married and little children, thinking that I'm sure people cringed. And I'm talking about friends that we still have who probably cringed when we were talking about politics or other worldly events. And I don't even remember what I would say, but I'm sure it was cringeworthy.
I know, yeah.
And what I've learned about that is that instead of trying to fake it till you make it, why not just take that time and educate yourself?
Yes. No, that's awesome. You're right.
And the thing that I do know coming out of the education field is the best way to educate yourself is to read. And
I love it.
And I was never an avid reader or a person who liked reading when I was in high school. I hated it. But I have become
Quite the reader,
quite
yes.
the reader, and
And you read fast.
I'm one of these. I can't stop reading, so
I know. You will
I cannot put a book
neglect
down.
sleep.
Yes, so that's what I would say about specifically in that aspect related to integrity is don't fake it, put in the work.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. That is huge. And I hadn't thought that part through to say, if you don't know and you want to know, find out. That makes that will bring you into alignment.
Mm-hmm.
But let me be real careful and clear, and I see this a lot. Be careful about preconceived notions.
Mm-hmm.
Because 2 people, 3 people with preconceived notions that are diabolically opposed to each other could read the same information, and all 3 has claimed that what they're reading is support of what they're
right.
thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So to live in integrity, you've got to be able to purse out the bullshit. And I'm talking about your own personal bullshit. I'm talking about the lies you've told yourself. You've got to be honest with you. You've got to have integrity of who you really are.
Right.
And that's what all this is about.
Right.
But that is awesome. You're right. You're right. One of my challenges needs to be a specific book, and we make them read it. I mean, obviously, the Bible is the easy one to point at.
Mm-hmm.
I just am leery of like saying, "Oh, you have to read this book." You know what I'm saying? That concerns me. But here's a blessing for you for this week. It's a short mantra, but repeat it whenever you feel yourself is split. One thought, one breath, one step, one road. Breathe that in. Let it guide you. will say it again. One thought, one breath, one step, one road. Because walking in integrity isn't flashy. It's not dramatic. It's daily. It's ordinary. But it's also sacred. And that's what Pentecost points us toward. One spirit, one body, one heart. And with that, we come to the end of our three-part journey. From the upper room to the inner fork to the open road forward. But this is only the beginning for you. This week, as you walk, breathe, choose, and speak, do it all with integrity. Be one. Let the Spirit move in you without resistance. Let your flame burn steady. Let your life speak clearly. Thank you for joining us with Crusade with me. The world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs more whole ones. And you, friend, you are becoming whole. This is Crusade with me, and I'm Dave, and I'll see you on the road. And as always, Crusade with me.